Have you ever tried meditation and just gave up? Did you keep getting distracted whenever you tried to meditate? Did you hate the woo or the nonsense that was surrounded by it like I did? Well, if that's the case and it didn't make any sense to you, we can fix all that and we can do it right now. Hi, my name is Tyus. I make videos about living your freest life possible, personal liberty, escaping the rat race. And if you watch this channel, one of the tips that come up fairly routinely is the power and benefit of meditation. In this video, I'm going to talk about why you should meditate, but there are some problems with it, and we're going to go through those problems. We're going to talk about how to get past those problems, and we're going to talk about 6 ways that you can meditate without all the nonsense that a lot of people put into meditation. So let's start off by talking about why you should meditate. There's a ton of medical benefits, the most obvious of which being that it reduces stress. And you might say, I can handle a little stress. But did you know that stress can really upset your digestive tract? It can actually mess up your reproductive system. It can increase your risk of heart attacks and strokes, and it can even make you age faster. Those are some pretty significant repercussions. Now, meditating on a regular basis can help control your anxiety. It promotes better emotional health. It enhances your self-awareness, and it reduces the chance of depression, which nowadays antidepressant drugs are massive. The selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, SSRIs, are one of the most prescribed medications out there. Meditating on a regular basis lengthens your attention span. It reduces age-related memory loss. It can help fight addiction. It improves your sleep. It helps control pain. It decreases blood pressure. If there was a drug that did all of these things, it would be the most expensive and best-selling drugs ever created. And with that being said, why isn't everybody meditating on a regular basis? Well, because there are also something wrong with meditation. The biggest problem for me when learning to meditate on a regular basis was all the nonsense that came with it, whether it was gurus or shamans or yogis or learning about the chakras or life force or nature's energy or mythological locations or chanting. It was just so much nonsense. You see, I grew up in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and to say that my parents were hippies is to say that the ocean is damp. They were way off the reservation. And my mom, she would go into the forest and surround herself with these redwood trees and meditate on a regular basis, and I would see her do this with crystals and incense burning, and it was a little wacky to me. So when I found out about all the benefits that are included with meditation, I was a little reluctant because I wanted to engage in things that are science-based, that have proven results. And when they were doing all these things that didn't have any proven results and that was associated with it, I was naturally very, very skeptical until I learned a different way of thinking about meditation. A better way to think about meditation is as a workout for your mind. And when you work out, if you're lifting weights, you lift those weights until you reach a point of failure. Once your muscle fails, that's the point where it starts to build and recover and it becomes stronger. And that's essentially what meditation does as well. When I was meditating, I was getting frustrated whenever I would get distracted, but that was the point of failure. That was the point of meditating, was to get distracted so that I can realize, hey, you're getting distracted. You can learn from this. You can gain awareness from this. You can learn what distracts you, and this will make your mind stronger. Strengthening your mind falls into a form of meditation called insightful meditation. There's generally 2 camps within meditation. One is calming meditation and one's insightful meditation. Insightful is about gaining something from the experience. So in the spiritual side of meditation, this would look like reaching enlightenment, which is not something that I necessarily can get my head around. I look for the science-based stuff. But calming meditation is all about relaxation, which I can get behind as well. The thing is, meditation is not a dichotomy. It's not either calming or insightful. You can do both at the same time. You just have to learn how to meditate in the right ways. So I'm going to share with you 6 kinds of meditations and how to do them. They're very, very easy because all of these things happen just up in your mind. You don't have to go to a special retreat to do this. Now, the first of these is called mindfulness, which most scientific studies use mindfulness meditation as the method that they study. This is also called vipassana, which vipassana translates to mean insight. But mindfulness meditation is just about staying focused on one thing. That focus is often your breathing. So you'll sit there and you'll focus on your breath, just breathing in and breathing out, breathing in and breathing out, and you're focusing on that. And eventually you actually get distracted. It just happens. Your mind wanders onto something else. And when it does, you acknowledge that distraction. You realize, oh, this is what distracted me. And then you get back to focusing on your breath. And through that process, over and over and over again, you get better at realizing what's causing those distractions, how to acknowledge the distraction and move past it. So in your daily life, you stop getting distracted so much. Another version of mindfulness is just to scan your body. Go from head to toe and think about how every part of you feels at any given time. Now, as I said, this is by far the most common form of meditation. It is often what is used in guided meditation, and I would say this is the basic. But just because mindfulness is the basics of meditation doesn't mean that any form of meditation is very complicated, regardless of how crazy their name might be. For example, Transcendental meditation is a fantastic form of meditation, but the name makes it sound really, really complicated, when in reality, all it is a mantra, a silent mantra that you say in your head. You don't have to have any association with what the mantra means. It's simply that you're focusing on a series of sounds over and over and over again. And there are classes for these, and those classes are insanely overpriced, and they can feel very, very cult-like, and you don't need them. All you need is something to say in your head, and it's even best if it means nothing to you. This is why you might hear people say Om, Om, Om over and over and over again. They're reciting a mantra. It's something for them to focus on in the same way that mindfulness is focusing on your breath. So other very common mantras would be Satnam, or Ing, or Sharim, or Shyama, or Harim. These are all very common mantras. Now, it's best, like I said, if you don't know what the mantra means, believe it or not, some of these schools will charge thousands and thousands of dollars simply to give you a mantra, which is just a word that means nothing to you. But this form of meditation is used by tons of celebrities. A lot of superstars in the entertainment world use transcendental meditation on a daily basis. If repeating a mantra is not for you, well, there's other options. For example, you could simply count. Counting meditation couldn't be simpler. It literally is what it sounds like. You could repeat the numbers 1 through 10. You just count. Every time you breathe in, you count 1. Then you count 2 on the next breath, all the way to 10. When you reach 10, you drop back down to 1. The point of this is just focusing on those counts, keeping a rhythm, and again, noticing when you get distracted and coming back from those distractions. People get frustrated when they get distracted, not realizing that that's actually the point. That's a good thing in this process. Now, if you don't want to count to 10, you could count endlessly. You could count to as big of a number as you could think of, and every time you get lost, you could just start back over at 1. It's not about reaching the biggest number possible. Again, it's about focusing your mind on any very simple task and identifying how you can stay focused, because that will translate to being focused throughout the rest of your day and the rest of your life. You also don't have to focus on your breath or on a sound or on counting. You could just simply focus on an object. You can meditate with your eyes open. It's very common to focus on an object as a form of meditation. That could be the flame of a candle. You can simply stare at it. Again, the point of this is to keep focused and realize when you get distracted, and when you get distracted, simply go back to being focused again. Maybe you're focusing on a blade of grass. Maybe you're looking at a star. One really fantastic way of handling this when you are meditating with your eyes open is to soften your focus, is to kind of let the light come in and don't necessarily focus on anything. Let the world be a blur in front of you and realize when your mind starts to wander. That's the point of it. The point of it is to focus on anything and let your mind wander so that you can correct. You could also focus on something outside of you, like a sound. So have you ever seen those singing bowls? They're a little bowl made of metal, and people will take a piece of wood and run those around the perimeter of the bowl, and it makes this beautiful resonant noise. It's the same kind of trick that happens when you run your finger around a champagne glass or a crystal glass. It'll make this noise. Well, they're listening to it, and a lot of people use that to meditate to. Or you could listen to the sound of crickets or the sound of running water. I used to have a subscription to a place where I could go and sit in an isolation tank where it would cut off all light, all sound, and it would even kind of remove your sense of touch because you were inside water that was the same temperature as your skin, and the air was also the same temperature as your skin. So it removed as many sensory inputs as you could imagine. And what you ended up hearing, or what I ended up hearing, was my own heartbeat. So that's what I would meditate on. I would meditate to the sound of my own heartbeat. That's what I would keep focused to. Another more advanced form of meditation is called Zen Cohens. These are impossible questions. They're questions that you repeat in your mind over and over and over again, and you're focusing on that question and the answer, and that is what is providing you with the focus that is your meditation. The most common of these, the most popular or almost cliche version of this is, what is the sound of one hand clapping? Which I think is a ridiculous question to ask, but it's fine. Other good examples could be, what do you call the world? That's a really difficult question. Or what is this moment? Or where have you come from? Or what is the price of rice? It could be something that is completely simple and nonsensical, or it can be something meaningful. Two of my very favorite questions to ask myself is, one, where did the thought that I'm experiencing come from? Because it helps me realize that the distractions that I experience in my life are my own responsibility because they come from my own thoughts. The other question that I like to ask myself a lot when meditating is, what am I grateful for? Because you end up living a very happy life if you realize how much you have to be grateful for. But like I said, this is a much more advanced meditation technique because you're going through a series of thoughts. You're going through a bunch of different ideas as your brain comes up with answers, and it's important to identify whether you're focusing on the question and the answer, or if you've become distracted in the process. Now, I understand that this is kind of a broad overview of meditation, and it might seem a little overly simple, but believe it or not, meditation is very, very simple. But if I left something out, or if you have any questions, please comment below with those questions. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please do so. I really appreciate it. It helps the algorithm share my content more and grow my channel, and you can share it with other people if you'd like, and I hope to see you on the next video.